Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in.
Welcome back, everyone. So I got this thermal cinch as a Christmas gift for my mom, and she also got me these extra, let's see, what are these? They're called thermal cinch spines, and essentially this is supposed to use heat to be able to create journals. Now, I'm a huge journaler. I always have been, ever since I was in elementary school. And, you know, as an adult, I've made my own journals from scratch. And I also have the Cinch bookbinder, where you can put your spirals in it and you can create your own journals that way. But I've also made it, you know, completely from scratch, like I said, without any sort of tools like that. But we both thought this was kind of interesting, because we both love journaling, and we can always find a need to use a notebook or, you know, a collection of sheets of paper. So we both really like this. And so I thought maybe you guys could come on the journey with me to try to figure out how it works. It's supposed to be super easy. So I guess we'll see. It's kind of hard to get everything in frame, but this is kind of the side of the box and what it looks like. And again, these are kind of like the extra cinch spine. So I'm gonna take everything out of the box and try to set it up. And I might have to raise my camera. We'll see. Oh, it's pink. Oh, it's super lightweight. All right, you guys, so I took it out of the box and it slides down like that. I turned it the opposite direction because my plug is this way, so I could plug it in, but that's what the front of it looks like. You can see, looks like there's a timer right here, and I'm looking at this upside down. Let's see, plug in machine and flip. When machine is ready, let's see, what does it say? Blinking light will beep when machine is ready. Place book in machine and press timer. Blinking light will beep when book is ready. Okay. Remove book and let cool in folder for 5 minutes. Okay, that seems pretty simple. And then we have, so I have it plugged in. It's not turned on yet, so let's kind of look at the instructions here. We have, let's see, dust-proof cover. So this is what they're calling, this mechanism here is called the dust-proof cover. Cooling slot. Okay, power cord. Okay, so this they're calling, let's see, in my frame. Let me slide this up. They're calling this part here the cooling slot. This is the binding slot. This is the dust cover, the lid right here. So dust cover, binding slot, cooling slot right here. And then it just talks about the timer button, indicator light, and cord storage. Okay, so I have it plugged in. I'm gonna, actually the instructions are pretty simple. Let's see, keep the binding slot clean and free from strange objects. For your safety, never touch the bottom of the binding slot because it can be hot. Raise the dust cover when not in use. The maximum book size is 12 inches in length by 1.4 inches wide, so just a little shy of 1.5 inches. The machine will automatically turn off in 30 minutes without any operation. The machine must be connected to a supply voltage corresponding to the electrical rating. Okay. Unplug the machine before moving or when not in use. Do not operate with a damaged cord. Okay, so the rest is just kind of safety precautions. So that's pretty straightforward. So it looks like the most complicated instructions are the ones I read you guys when I was looking at it upside down on the front of the machine. And let's see, oh, let's see, here's the other side. Okay, these are the visual instructions. Okay, select your binding spine and trim to desired book length. Okay, that's what I was wondering, if we could trim this. So we can. Okay, because I was wondering if I had to only make giant covers or if I could make smaller journals. Okay, that's good to know. Compile your book contents. The included 1/4-inch binding spines hold up to 50 sheets of copy paper or 25 sheets of cardstock. Okay, that's good to know. Insert pages and covers into binding spine. Peel off adhesive liners on either side of binding spine and adhere to front and back. Insert any accessories by adhering to internal pages with adhesive. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so you can, you know, include like a little piece of ribbon, a bookmark, a charm, something like that. Okay, that's nice to know that you can do that. Then you plug in a machine, flip power switch on side panel. Indicator light will stop blinking and beep when machine is ready. Place the book in the machine and press the timer on the front. And the indicator light will stop blinking and beep when book is ready, which takes about 2 minutes, it says. Then you remove the book and let it cool in the cooling slot for 5 minutes or until it's cool. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. So let's look at what came with this. So these are the binding covers that came with it. It looks like there's some floral ones. Let's take them out and take a look. And it looks like it has a little binder clip there. So like that. So, okay, it's floral one, pink one, and then mint green one. And then my mom also bought me this pack of, looks like orange, blue, and purple. And let's see, does it say how many? Yeah, it says 6 pieces. So 2 of each. Okay, so I think, let's see, which one do I want to use? Let's do the floral one. This is so pretty. I wonder if they make other designs too. Like, it would be nice if they had some that were like gilded, you know what I mean? Okay, so let me get my paper and then I'll be right back and then figure out what size book I want to make, but I think I want to cut this in half. So we'll figure that out and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so I have some half-letter bright white sheets of paper, and I'll take some out so you can see what I mean, that I purchased to make my own journals. So I tend to prefer A5 journals. To me, it's like the perfect size, but if you cut it in half, this could be like a little pocket journal. So let's measure this and see what size it is. Okay, this is, looks like 11 7/8 of an inch, so just shy of 12 inches by how much wide? By, looks like almost 4 inches, slightly more than 3 7/8. So about 4 inches. So 4 inches by just under 12 inches. So 12 by 4 essentially. So if I do the full journal, I could cut this down and have like a little tiny one. Or do I want to do like a pocket journal? And I think I might fit 2. Yeah, I'd have enough to do 2 that size. I might try that. That way I can get 2 journals out of this one. That'd be kind of cool. So 50 sheets of copy paper or 25 sheets of cardstock is the maximum you can use. So you basically trim your binding to the desired length. So I probably would say maybe 1/4 of an inch taller than the sheet of your paper. I would say 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch taller. When I make journals, you want to have an allowance so that it covers the actual sheet of paper. So let me count out 50 sheets and then trim them down, and then I'll be right back. So again, I'm using A5 paper, and I think I'm gonna trim them in half so I can get like 2 pocket-sized notebooks. So I'm gonna count out 50 sheets of this, trim them down, and then I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I made a bit of a mistake. When I was cutting my paper, again, this is A5 paper, I accidentally cut it down to 4 1/8 inches, and then I realized it's supposed to be 4 1/4. So then I thought, well, I didn't, should I just get more paper and recut it? But I just decided to cut all the paper down to 4 1/8 so that I wouldn't waste all the paper that I had already cut. So that's what I did. So I just, took my scissors and just trimmed the edge by hand. So it has this kind of raw edge to the pages. I'm okay with that, but that's, just want to let you know that that's what I did. So just be mindful of when you're cutting things to make sure that you're keeping in your mind the measurement that you need. And then the other error I made is when I was cutting the cover, I had the measurement of the paper, the width of the paper in my mind and not the length of this. And I accidentally cut this the wrong size. So after I did it, I was like, why is this so short? And then I realized, oh shoot, I used the 4-inch marker and not the other side. So I was using the width instead of the length. So I had to cut another piece from a different, the other packet. So I cut the flower pack, since I messed up this one. I was going to do 2 covers like this. So instead of 2 covers like that, I just opened up the mint green one and I'm going to do these 2. Okay, so then I still have the other mint green one. And since this is not perfectly even, it's not a perfect 12 inches. This one, again, is like 1/8 of an inch shorter than the other one, just because that's how it came. So just, again, FYI. Now I think I might try to make like a little cute little bookmark for it. I'm not sure how well it's going to do with organza ribbon. I have this kind of coral organza ribbon. I'm not sure if it's picking up the color on this, but it kind of looks white on camera, but it's coral. It's like a light peach color. Then I have this mint green organza. I think this probably shows up a little bit better. You can see that matches it perfectly. And I think what I'm going to do is, with the flower one, I want to add some charms to it. So I have this cute little wheelbarrow with some gardening tools. I have this watering pail with that. And then I have this cute little hummingbird and the flower. I was going to use the gardening tools, but now that I'm looking at it, I think this would go perfectly with that. So I think I'm going to use this charm for this one. And let's see, for this one, I think I might use the hummingbird. I think that's really cute. Or maybe the watering can in this. Huh. That's cute too. But I think I'm gonna go with the hummingbird. I'll set this aside in case I change my mind. But let's go ahead and make the charms for that. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I have these, I used to make jewelry, handmade jewelry, so I still have a lot of my artisan jewelry tools. I'm gonna add some jump rings and tie a knot to this, and then use a jump ring to attach the charm. So I'm gonna take 2 of these out. Okay. And let's take this. And I think what I might do is, after I tie the knot, is use my burn tool and seal the edge of the ribbon. It's going to be kind of hard to get it through here. Let me get my tweezers. Okay. And I made this significantly longer than I need for that reason, so I could have enough room to knot it and cut it. Okay. And again, I'm going to save that to, I might have to knot it twice. Yeah. Maybe even 3 times. Do my best to get the knot in the same place. Let me use this little binder clip they gave me to clamp off the end so this doesn't fall off. So the jump ring doesn't fall off while I'm trying to get this knot in the same place. I'm just gently using my tweezers. This is organza ribbon, so I don't want to tear it. There we go. Let's see if that's big enough. Again, I might have to do more. No, okay. Well, you know what, let's see how tight it is when I put the charm on it. So let's see, let's open this up, and let me get my needle nose pliers. So I'm going to use my needle nose pliers to open up the jump ring. And slide this on. And then I'm going to bend it back into place. So I'm going to squeeze it and then kind of perfect the ends. I'm sorry, the charm is hitting the side of this, or the binder clip is hitting the side. And I'm squeezing it and then taking my needle nose pliers to round out the edges. Like that. Okay. So I think I might do maybe one more knot just to make it secure. And again, I might even do 4 just because of the weight of the charm. I want to make sure that it stays. And let's do another one. Okay, let's see how that works. So to make sure that it can't go off. This might do a 5th one. Yeah, that's a little bit better. You know, just to kind of guarantee that it stays in place. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. So let's see what kind of length we need, how long we want this. Let's see, how do they say to put this in? Okay, they say from like this side. Okay, so it's going to dangle down like that. So probably need to cut off about 5 inches. Maybe about 4 inches. I wanted it to dangle past the book, so I wanted it to be about 1 inch past here, and it's got to be about 2 inches in. So let's cut it about there. I always can cut, but you can't add fabric once it's done. So that's a pretty good length. Let's see, do I want to go about 1/2 inch shorter? Maybe you're about right there. So I'm gonna cut off about 1 inch more. Okay, so that's about where it's going to be, and that's going to be on the inside. Okay, so we have that one. So I'm going to do the other one, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my heat tool has finally finished heating up. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm using the round edge, and my heat tool came with a bunch of these different types of tips, but I prefer this one. It's just faster. So now, depending on the type of ribbon, like this is organza, so it's very fragile, so I'm going to have to go very quickly. So you're going to see me just lightly tap the edges, and I'm kind of using a gliding motion just to try to get a clean edge. And I'm going to keep doing it until I get a clean edge. Okay, that's pretty close. And yes, that edge is sealed, and that's all it takes. I'm going to do this edge too. This one will be hidden, but why not seal both ends since I have the tool out? Okay, all right, so that edge is sealed. So let me turn this off and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just have a piece of chipboard to hold the heat tool while it's cooling on the side. So now it's the fun part, we can start assembling. So let's go ahead and put this in where we want it, about right there. Let me get the pages that I have on the side here. So the sheets of paper, and I have this already heating up. You can probably see there's like a little blue light over there. So see, this goes in the middle, and then the paper goes here. And make sure I'm following the instructions. Okay, insert pages and covers into binding spine, peel off adhesive liners on either side of the binding spine and adhere to the front and back. And insert any accessories to the internal pages with adhesive. and clip it to the edge of the book away from the spine, okay? The edge of the book. Okay, so that's why they have this. So you can clip it. Okay, but I have to peel this off first. So let's peel this off and then put the paper in. I think that's going to be the easiest way. Okay, so this goes like that. I think it's kind of hard to do with one hand. Let's put this down like this. Get the paper. Wish this was tacky so it would stay in place. See. Oh. Oh boy. Did I mess this up already? This stuck to the adhesive. I was trying to line it up and it stuck. Well, okay, let's line it up with this page then. I might trim some of this off while I have the opportunity. I was trying to have a longer overflow, but let's see. We're gonna freehand it. Okay, that's not bad. And this goes right here. It's kind of hard to hold this paper and clip this in at the same time. So if you're doing this by yourself, you might want to get someone to help you. Boy, how do you do this? Okay, then it says to clip it. How do you clip it on the edge? That is like impossible. Yeah, I don't know how to clip this on the edge. I don't have enough cover to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do it without that because it's not letting me do that. I might have to tear this last page off that got stuck prematurely. Because I think it's supposed to line up right here. There we go. Okay. Hopefully I didn't just mess all of this up, but I guess we'll find out together. I'm trying to tuck it underneath the pages so it'll stay. Okay, the last image shows it clipped to the front cover sticking out of this. So like this, I guess. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if that's right or not, or if I just ruined it, but let's do it and see. Let's see. It's plugged in. It already beeped to let me know it's ready, and the front is there. Okay. Now it says place book in machine and press timer. Oh, well, what happens if your book is small? Okay. Book in machine. I think I'm gonna lean it out like that. It's blinking. Okay, it's going to say it's going to beep when the book is ready, which takes about 2 minutes. So let's set a timer and see how long it takes. It's only been in there about 15 seconds maybe. Okay. I'm not sure if this is going to work well for smaller books. It says you can cut it down to size, but I don't know. Because the book is like in, you know, it's like completely in there. I'm hoping it doesn't melt my organza ribbon. And I'm holding it on the side since it says it'll... Oh, I just realized, guys. Oh my God, I just realized something. I didn't make a cover. It just said put your paper in, add the binding strip. Oh shoot. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Worst come to worst, I can glue something to the first and last page. It won't be the prettiest, but just to disguise the fact that it's just copy paper. And I'm gonna cut down a cover for the second one after we see what happens with this. Okay, so it just beeped. So it took about 1.5 minutes because it was already in there for about 15 seconds. Okay, so after it beeps, remove book and let it cool in the cooling slot. This is the cooling slot, which is not really a slot. How do you use this as a cooling slot? The heck? Well, okay, you know what? Cooling slot. It says to keep it here, but there's nothing there to really hold it. Oh, maybe it just leans against this. Okay, that's a little weird. I think they should have put like a little shelf or something there. So it's gotta cool for 5 minutes. So let me reset my timer. And I'll come back in 5 minutes. All right, you guys, so it's been cooling. Actually cooled for 7 minutes instead of 5. So I took it out of the little cooling tray, as they call it, cooling slot. So let's take a look. Okay, so it has the spine is definitely in there. Like the last page, not so much. First page, not so much, but I think that might be because I didn't put a cover on. And I wasn't thinking, I was following the instructions to a T, not thinking about, oh, add a cover. It just said put in the binding strip. So that's kind of annoying. I wish it had, you know, given more complete instructions. I'm just going to trim out this top part. Actually, I don't know why I did that. I just made it worse, didn't I? Because I can't reach, see if I can reach this small part. Surprisingly, it didn't. I was worried it was going to burn the organza. It didn't. Like the glue is quite strong. Like I'm trying to peel it back to cut off this excess, but I don't know if it's going to let me. Okay. Now, can I retroactively go in and add a cover? Let's put that in the middle. So we have the charm. That came out really well. I love that. I cut down some paper. Like if I was going to add a cover, maybe I can just trim down some elements like that. Or maybe trim off. Let's see how much would I need. Let me get my ruler. Let's say about 3.5 inches and I'd still see the spine. Maybe I'll just make like a card front, 3.5 by 5.5. Maybe I'll do that. So let me trim this down real quick. I could do that. You know what I mean? Glue that on top just so it looks a little bit more complete. I think I will do that. Let me get my tape runner. Okay, so first time around, kind of a fail. Partly because their instructions were a little bit incomplete. Other part is because I was so focused on following the instructions and messing up that I ended up messing up. Let me bring this all the way to the edge of the paper. And this will get stuck to the first sheet of paper entirely, which I think is a good thing since that part was kind of weird anyway because I didn't have a cover. Okay, that looks better. And the rest of it is pretty secure. It's only this because, again, I wasn't thinking about having a cover. So let's do this side. So what did I say? What did I do? I think I did 3.5 by 5.5. Yeah, 3.5 by 5.5. Now I don't have to worry about the last page kind of floating. And again, I think the reason why is because I didn't have a cover. Okay, now let's take a look. It's a bit makeshifty because obviously I messed up, but it looks more complete. Okay, so let's look at the pages. I'm sorry, that's my charm hitting this. But the internal pages are secure, with the exception of this. So I think I might put some, let's see, tape runner over here. And some of the ribbon. Again, my concern when I did it is I was worried that the ribbon wasn't going to stick because there was no adhesive in the middle. So it looks like part of the ribbon stuck down, but not all of it. Okay, let me get my bone folder just to kind of smooth this down a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then we can put this back in the middle or thereabouts. Okay, considering I think the instructions weren't entirely complete, I think it came out pretty well. So note to self, make sure you, and I might have to put some stronger adhesive here, make sure you add your cover. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, oh, it says put in the paper and add the spine. That just completely escaped me, and I don't know why. I've made journals before, and like I said, I think I was just so focused on following the instructions, I kind of messed up. But I do love, I love the charm, the addition of the charm. I love that. Like, I think that is really cute. Again, I think considering that I kind of messed up, I think that came out pretty well. Let's try to do a second one and see if it makes a difference. Okay, this time around, cover, spine. So maybe, I think what they intend to say is attach the spine to the cover. The instructions don't say that, but obviously that's what makes the most sense. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense not to. So let's do that. And we have our sheets of paper. And let's see, where's my charm? Okay, here's the hummingbird charm. Let me remove some of these cover scraps. Okay. and basically try to get this in the middle. Maybe I should mark the center. Let me get my 0 ruler. Let me get my Tim Holtz center ruler and just mark a small area in the middle. Okay, center. You basically try to make sure it's even on each side. Right there. Oops, I just moved it. Hold on. Here we go. So this is center. I'm using a light color pencil just so I can see it, but it won't get in the way. Okay, so we have our center. Now we can, maybe I should mark the center of this too. Line up both. This is what? Just shy of 4 inches. So not quite 4 inches. So let's do about right there. Oh, actually that worked out perfectly. So it's almost exactly in the middle, slightly to the right. Let's try this and see how it works. So far, I'm not particularly impressed, I gotta say. Okay, there's it right there. It's really hard to do. I feel like you need to bend this. Okay, let's do ribbon and then paper. So we want it this way. Oh no, wait. This has to be this way. Okay. Paper. I don't think this is going to work. I'm not entirely sure I understand this. See, with the cover, that doesn't make sense, does it? There's something wrong with these instructions. No, it says insert pages and covers into binding spine. Okay, so I missed that part. Okay, well, this is the way they're saying it's supposed to be. I don't know how, it's so thick. I guess I'm trying to figure out how do you get the paper to stay if you also want to have a ribbon. That's the difficult part. This goes like this. You see how it's bending? Like it's being really weird. Even though it's the right size, it's hard to get it because it's not bending properly because of this. How do you get it to be? Oh, this is so annoying. I'm not sure if I like this. Honestly, I think my Cinch spiral maker is better, and making it by hand, I think it's easier. Gosh. I think it's easier if you just do a piece of ribbon versus something with a charm. like they show that you can do, just because I think it just kind of complicates it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know how to get this to work. You know what? I'm tacking this ribbon now because it's not going to stay otherwise. There. Now I don't have to worry about that. It doesn't say to do that, but that makes the most sense to me. I mean, that's how you would do it when you make this by hand. Okay, now let's see if we can get this to bend properly. And it doesn't want to bend. You see what it's doing to the paper? I might have to cut the paper down because it's doing something weird to the paper and it's bending it in a really weird way. You see how it's making it uneven even though I showed you that paper was straight and the cover was straight. So this is driving me nuts. Trying to use my bone folder to smush this down. You know what, I might do it like this. That's pretty close, and just trim the paper. Even though everything was the right size. For some reason, because this isn't, it doesn't want to lay flat. I'm using my bone folder to kind of create my own spine. That just makes it easier. I mean, it's still not laying flush. Oh, God, I hate this. Okay, you know what? Let's take a sheet of paper and I think I'm going to trim it down almost exactly to the same size. Because, I mean, it's already not working, so what is it going to do, not work more? You know what I mean? Yeah, that made it a little bit easier. So I don't think it likes having a lot of overhang at the top and bottom. So I think I'm going to do that, and then trim the internal pages, which is going to be kind of a hassle after the fact. But let's see if that works. So let's see. What did it say to do? See, is it still on? Yeah, it's still on. So put this in and press timer. Timer. And then wait 2 minutes. Okay, the timer just went off, so let's put it in its little cooling slot. Just lean it up against here. And it has to cool for 5 minutes. All right, you guys, it's been 5 minutes. Let's take a look. Let's see if the page is secure this time. And no, they did not. You see what I'm saying? So how do you add the cover and the paper? I think the only way to do it is, they say cover, but I think it needs to be individual sheet this way, individual sheet this way. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. They don't say that, but that's the only thing that makes sense. So this is kind of just ruined. So yeah, I think that's what you have to do. So don't create a cover, create cover sheets. Like you're making a card front of a greeting card. So next time what I'll do is do this like I did. Actually, I'll do like what I did for this. You know what I mean? Because actually that's I did this after the fact, but next time I'll do it up front. So have this go on the inside, this go on the inside, then put your paper, put your ribbon and then your paper, and then put it in. I think that's the way that it makes sense. Okay, so, I mean, I'm not completely mad at it. I do think the instructions could be better. I mean, this is cute. Again, it's not perfect because I had to kind of fix some things after the fact. But I think that's what they mean. Again, I feel like the instructions aren't 100%. And maybe I should have looked at some videos online to see what other people did when they first got theirs. Because, yeah. Thankfully, it didn't ruin the little charm I made because that took a lot of work. So I'm going to save this piece. I don't think that this can be used. I think this is just ruined. But I have another cover, thankfully, left over. So I'm going to use this, make another one. Maybe this weekend. I don't know. I'm kind of over it right now. You know what I mean? I'm just over it. But I'm just going to put these things together. And then I have some more of this paper, thankfully. Let me see if I can. So I'm going to save this and kind of group them all together. That way I know, hey, and then make sure I cut a cover sheet to size, maybe 1/8 of an inch wider and taller than that sheet of paper, just so that you can't see the paper from the front and the back. And then I think that's the way to do it. So I think this works. I just think the instructions could be better. Let me say that. The instructions could be better. So let's turn this off. Put the dust cover on and call it a day. You know what I mean? If you have used this, let me know what you think of it in the comments, because I am flustered and annoyed. Yeah, I'm done for the day. Talk to you later. All right, guys, welcome back. I decided that I'm not going to let an inanimate object get the best of me because I'm not a quitter. So we're going to try this a third time, okay? All right. This is how I think it needs to go down. Peel this off of the spine. Okay. Put this down. Left side cover sheet. I think I'm gonna put it all the way down up to this edge. Again, the instructions don't show all of that, but that's what makes the most sense to me. Okay, this is the back. Line it up to the bottom, all the way up to this edge. Take my scissors, trim off the excess. Usually when you make journals, you have some overhang, but this, again, I think the way this was designed, it was designed not to have overhang. Again, they don't tell you any of this, but as someone who's made journals from scratch before, this just makes most sense to me. Okay. Discard this piece. Now, charm. And do it from reverse of how you want it. So I want it that way. Turn it over. Establish what kind of overhang you want. About right there. I'm going to do like I did last time. Tape runner, tape runner. Because you need something to hold this into place. I don't know how they think that you're going to have a ribbon and just randomly have it be held in place by itself. It doesn't make sense. So we're going to make the math make sense. Get it as much in the middle as you can. Again, I'm kind of just using the tape runner as a placeholder, just so that it stays. You know what I mean? Now, let's see. Let's maybe cut some of the excess off, just so we don't have a huge amount there. Now let's add the paper. I'm going to put some of the creased pages I accidentally creased in the back. Let's go like this, and like this. And again, because we cut it down, I'm going to have to do what I did last time and just manually cut things. So let's see, how much is it over? Let me get my ruler. Looks like about 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, slightly more than 1/4 of an inch. So maybe I'll go ahead and trim all of these down. So I'll do that and I'll come back. All right, guys, welcome back. I just trimmed all the paper down, and I trimmed it down to 3 7/8 of an inch for those that are keeping track. So let's go ahead and put this in. Push it all the way down and press the timer. And I'm gonna drape that over the side. Okay, so it's gonna be in there for 2 minutes. The timer's gonna go off. And then it will cool for 5 minutes. After it cools, I'll come back and let you know how it did, and I'll show you the results, okay? All right. All right, everyone, so it's been exactly 5 minutes. So let's take a look. This is the hummingbird charm that I added, and with the organza ribbon. And I think the trick of using the tape runner, it works well. That way it holds it in place. You're not fussing around with it. Because the way they say just to put it in, it just doesn't make sense to me. Let's take a look at how the pages are. They seem to be pretty well held in. Now I will say, so the way that I did it this time, the third time, worked the best. Now I do want to clarify. I gave this a bit of a bad rap in the beginning. I didn't fully, I read the instructions, but it didn't, the instructions, I think because it's very succinct, I kind of glossed over it. So it does say to put in the cover, but I was thinking like full cover because I'm thinking of when I do my own journals, when I do a wrap, a full cover. But it does say to, put in the cover. So originally I didn't think it said that, but it does say that. So I just want to make sure that I mention that. But I do still think the instructions could be better. And I do have a problem with this because this is the first one that I did without any cover, which to me means this should be held together, like crazy, because I didn't even bother to put a cover on it, so there's nothing to hinder the gluing process. And a sheet fell out. You see that's loose there. So this followed their instructions minus the cover. Now it looks like everything else is pretty good. So there's about 2 to 3 sheets, basically like the last, no, actually more than that. About 10, the last 10 sheets are quite loose. And I don't think that should be. So I don't know why that is. So that's kind of concerning to me. I think I did a pretty good job of kind of making it look cute, after the fact. But again, why aren't the pages in there? Because this was in there completely. So this should not be happening. So I don't like that. I do like the fact that it took 3 tries, but I did finally get it to function properly. And again, the pages appear to be fully set. Am I glad that my mom paid her hard-earned money and I didn't pay my own? Yeah. Yes, I am. Honestly, it's okay. I mean, I think it's okay. Again, I think the instructions, for example, I think the instructions should have said something like this. We're including a binding strip for the spine, and it measures 12 inches by 4 inches. You need to have 2 cover sheets to create a cover that measure 5.5 by 8.5 inches. You know what I mean? I think it should tell you or something like, hey, if you want to create an A5 journal and in parentheses put 5.5 by 8.5 inches, then you need to have cover sheets that measure this size. You know what I mean? Or you need to have cover sheets that also are 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Make sure you don't have an overhang. It doesn't give you any sort of tips or tricks or anything like that. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. And I don't like that. Because to me, if you're like, oh yeah, you can cut it down to whatever size that you want, but you're not giving us any tips for what does that mean, right? I kind of figured it out the hard way. When I did it and I was like, okay, it doesn't like the fact that I have an overhang. Usually when I create journals by hand, typically you want a 1/4 inch overhang on each side, or at least an 1/8 of inch overhang on each side, minimum, right? So that it's fully enclosed without seeing paper. This didn't tell you that. And I don't like that. I still think the instructions should be significantly better. It should have been better written. Oh, I spoke too soon. No, this has the same problem. So it says you can use 50 pages, but I would say you can use 40 because the last 10 pages just aren't in there fully. As you can see, it just came out. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I would say don't use more than 40 sheets because I just think 50 is too much. They say 50, but yeah, well, yeah, that just completely fell out. Okay. Yeah, I'm not in love with this. Even following the instructions, even figuring things out on my own. This is the third journal. First journal was a fail, but I found a way to make it work because I forgot to cover. Second journal was a complete fail because I made it a cover for it. Third journal worked perfectly according to their instructions and common sense of using tape runner for the ribbon. Again, it's in there really secure. It's securely held, but again, both journals that came out mostly successfully, the last 10 pages just aren't secure. So I would say if you buy this, I think it works. Just don't use 40 pages max. And that's kind of unfortunate. You know, I think you should be able to use 50 pages. Like I've had journals I've created with 100 pages. And I made them by hand and I didn't have pages fall out. You know what I'm saying? So if I can do that by hand, this should be able to do that too. Or at least honor what you say. If you say it holds 50 pages, let it hold 50 pages. But clearly not. So I would say, do I think it's worth it? Yes and no. I mean, it mostly works, but if you're going to use it, I would say only use 40 pages. So it's going to be a journal on the smaller side. If you want a really big journal, then I would say probably pass on this. If you're the kind of person that likes smaller journals, like, you know, this is a kind of a cute journal you can put in your purse, in your backpack, in your work bag, briefcase, take it with you on the go. If you have large back pocket, maybe even fit in your back pocket, something like that, you know, keep in your car, the dashboard of your car. So, you know, this is kind of like a cute little on-the-go journal, which is why I wanted to try this size first. But I would say the easiest way to do this is next time, you know, when I make another journal, because I want to use up what I have, what my mom bought me. I have those A5 sheets I showed you guys that I bought for myself on Amazon for when I make my own journals. I would buy the sheet size that you want. That way you're not having to fuss around and do all this trickery by hand with the pages. Because my hands are sore and like swollen. Like they're like red and swollen from having to cut it down to the size. I thought this, you know, making a little pocket journal would be cute, and it is, and I love it. But it's just, I think it's too much effort. Now, if you don't mind that, then by all means do it. But just, I think the easiest way to do this moving forward, for example, I have the A5 journal sheets. I would cut down the spine, like I have one left that came in the packet with the machine. I would cut this down to A5 size, add the sheets, you know, put in if you want to use a ribbon, use the trick I showed you for the 2 journals I did. Tack it down with some tape runner, and then that way it kind of holds it in place until the pages can set. Then put your pages in, put it in for the 2 minutes, it's going to beep, put it in the cooling tray for 5 minutes, take it out. And then that way it's like minimal processing. So I do think it can work, but I don't think it works well enough for me to be like, oh, I love this. Because as you can see, even with the journal I did perfectly, the last 10 pages still fell out. So this is what the 2 journals that I made that are actually came out as journals. This was my complete fail because I accidentally made a full cover without realizing they really meant cover sheets. I think they should say that instead of saying cover, and then give you an example. I think they need to give you a full example, like I mentioned before, of if you want to create a journal of this specific size and give you example, like I used the A5, 5.5 by 8.5, then this is what you need. And this is the way to do it. That just so there's no confusion. I feel like that would just make it easier and make it less confusing. To be honest, I kind of like the mistake of me putting this cover on top. So I might do that again, and I don't mind having to glue this down, the first and last page. I don't like how wide this is. Or either what I might do is trim some of this down, because I feel like it's just too wide, especially if you're doing a smaller journal. Now, if you're doing a larger journal, it may not matter as much, but I kind of like having a 1/2 inch on either side, like this one, versus 1.5 inches on either side. So those are just kind of my thoughts. If you've tried this, let me know in the comments, but I just wanted to come back and let you know the update on how this turned out. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.